So I invited Dad down to my hometown near Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we decided to go out fishing on the Fox River in De Pere. It's the river that goes into Green Bay, which is known for its fantastic walleye fishing. We're actually doing something a little bit different. We're going to be casting cranks for walleyes today. It's a fun way to fish, a lot of action, and we're going to show you how to get the next bite.
To an outsider, it might seem like excessive amounts of rain wouldn't be preferable for fishing. But Gary and Chase Parsons know that if you're in the right place at the right time, like in any river system with high current that flows into a good-sized lake during the fall, you just couldn't ask for better conditions when it comes to patterning schools of staging river walleye.
Good fish?
Yeah, it feels pretty good,
Okay.
Dad.
Looks like a pretty good fish.
Oh yeah, it feels good. He's up already. He coming. All right.
Where is he?
He's right here. He's a good fish too.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
And he's off. Oh.
Oh.
Just blasted it. I'm reeling. Whack. Get him.
You know, this is one of the premier fisheries in the country here. Green Bay, Fox River fishery. We haven't really done a show here before, but it's so good we have to. And it's kind of a neat pattern, so actually I'll bet you most of these fish are males. Yeah, they're just, you know, fattened up in the fall. It's almost November. They come in, there's been a lot of rain, so the current's good. And it doesn't get much better than this. It's fun. There you go, buddy.
Ooh, he's gone.
If we have a wet fall where we're getting a lot of rain, I like to go to the river systems. Because what will happen in a situation like this is that the river will flow current. That current will draw a certain population of walleyes upstream, especially males, but even females. These fish will stage, and they'll stage in areas in preparation for winter, really. The thing that you want to realize is these fish will meander upstream, but someplace along that river, there are going to be obstacle stops for those fish to congregate. Many times that'll be a dam like we're fishing here today. Sometimes it'll be a rapids area. I've seen that on the Rainy River up by Lake of the Woods. Basically, you'll see any type of shallow water obstruction, the fish will like to congregate in those areas. Many times people would jig fish in the deeper pools below those rapids or below the dams. But one of the overlooked places is right up in the shallow water heavy current. And there'll be little pockets and rocks sticking up. Those fish will congregate and really in most cases are untouched. That's where this crankbait technique will absolutely knock them dead. You can pitch the crankbaits around this type of structure. You'll catch fish out of current that seems too fast to you, but you'll actually be able to get some really good fish like we're seeing here today. It's like he's mean too, he's biting the net.
So we're actually using a pretty simple retrieve technique in casting crankbaits today. I'll kind of go through what we're doing here. It's pretty simple, just making a nice cast out. We're looking basically to cast in these areas right on the end of this high current areas. But we're casting it out and just making a simple, steady, slow retrieve. We're using these number 7 flicker shads, and there's some guys here that are using smaller crankbaits, but what that larger crankbait does for us is it allows us to be in contact with the bottom at all times. Now that's a really good thing when you're casting crankbaits, because in situations like this especially, these walleyes are sitting close to the bottom, and with that size 7 we can actually almost walk that crankbait along the bottom on the retrieve. So we're staying steady, we're using a slightly larger crankbait to keep bottom contact, and it's really helping us catch a lot of fish today. Oh, there's one, Dad.
You got one?
Yep.
Okay, I'll get the net.
Yep. Feels like a pretty good fish too, Dad.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good
one. Wow. That's a beautiful fish. Ooh, he got off too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Why don't you get that fish? I'll stay on the bow mount and keep us pointed into the current here.
Ooh, that's a nice chunker. Look how fat they are. We'll let them go right away. Ooh, but there's one. Oh, missed him. He's off. Oh, he came back. I got him. Holy man. He missed it at first, and I just paused for a second. He came back and he whaled it.
Where's he at? Do I need to get on the bow mount?
Yeah, you can stay on the bow mount. I'll just come up by you.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
He just about ripped the rod out of my hands the first time.
Oh, he is a nice fish, Dad. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got off too. Yeah. Good deal. This is so fun up here. This is the one time a year you can come. You can go ahead and grab them, okay. Chase. I'll get the bait so your dogs don't get them.
Yeah. Nice fish, though. They are so pretty here.
This is so much fun in here.
And Duke likes them too. Yeah, buddy, what is that? Well, let's get him back in the water,
yeah. Huh? Yeah.
All right.
The real deal. Straight talk to make you a better fisherman. Brought to you by Bass Pro Shops.
The one thing we want to do here at the next bite is break down the technique for you so you're using the right equipment when you go fishing to have the best success. The first thing we're going to start with is the rod. I want you to look at a 7-foot spinning rod with about a medium action. You have to have a stiff enough action so that you can feel what that crankbait's doing as you work it and walk it along the bottom. You'll feel the rocks tick. You'll feel if a fish misses the bait, it'll kind of skip on you. That way you can stop your bait immediately. Many times those fish will come back and hit. The next thing that you want to use to help maximize that feel is Berkley Fire Line. Only normally, if we were jig fishing, I'd say use 6-pound test. This is a different situation. We're in shallow water. We're in a lot of rocks, a lot of current, good strong fish. Go to 10-pound test or maybe even 14-pound test line. That's going to help with the toughness, so you're not going to lose as many crankbaits, and it'll take the beatings that the rocks dish out. The last part of the component here is this little Berkley Flicker Shad. We're using number 7s here today because they really crash into the bottom, but they don't snag up that much. So it's a really good bait for doing this. The other thing is they're not super expensive, so that if you lose one occasionally, it's not the end of the world. One of the neatest things, though, about a flicker shad for casting is they have a rattle chamber that slides. So when you cast this bait, the little rattles actually slide to the tail end, and this bait casts like a bullet. So it's a really, really good bait for this type of technique. So you put all of these components together, get the right equipment, and you're going to catch a lot of fish. Bite.
Gary and Chase have made a few moves in search of fresh schools of walleye. Although this wet fall high current pattern holds true for most river systems, the biters have chosen the tail race of the dam of the Fox River near Chase's hometown, where they are casting flicker shads to shallow water rock structure.
Oh, what are you doing? Yeah, just like a baby, I'll hold him, I guess. He wants to lay like that.
Staying current with the school's bite isn't as much of a bad pun as it is a great idea when it comes to keeping the fishing fast and furious.
This is a better fish, too.
Is it a good one?
Yes.
Oh, he's really fighting, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Oh, got him. Oh, no.
Yeah! Woo! They always get off right away in the net.
It's better than Canada.
Wow, did he almost jerk that rod right out of my hands?
And they're only in 2 or 3 feet of water like that. And the deepest I think we're catching them is about 5 feet. They are just aggressive fish. And that's the thing, that is what makes walleye so cool. You know, quite often if you're catching them really deep, late in the fall or early in the spring when the water's cold, they fight much more, it's not lethargic, but more of a steady pull. You catch fish up shallow, especially shallow and current, and I'll put these chunk walleyes up against any bass or any other fish that swims. They fight hard. They don't jump, but they jerk your line, man, especially when they're wide like this.
Yeah.
There he goes.
So when you're fishing in situations like we are today, in a high current area under a dam or in a rapids area in a river, there's a few ways that you can be productive rather than just sitting in one spot casting to the same area. What we actually did when we got here is I got on the bow mount and we actually just kind of cruised around the structure. There's a lot of rocks on the bottom here. It's irregular, and I kind of cruised around and we're looking for fish, and we get a few fish in a spot. And what happened when we got those fish is we actually decided to drop the anchor then. What that did is it allowed us to really go after that school we had found. We picked a few more fish out of it, and when it seemed to peter out, we got back on the bow mount. In this area, there's a lot of boats, so you gotta be real courteous of other boats, but we just kind of cruised around looking for another school. Found another school and really tried to clean that school out. So rather than just sitting in the one spot, casting to the same area, what I'm telling you to do is move around, look for the fish, and you're gonna be a lot more productive.
Hot topics. Leading edge techniques and tackle designed to put more fish in your boat. Brought to you by thenextbite.com.
I'm here in one of the Mercury manufacturing plants, and that's why you'll hear a little bit of noise in the background here. We've actually got a demo of something new and exciting that Mercury's coming out, and it's called the Big Tiller. I'm here with Mike Riley from Mercury, and Mike was involved with the collection of data and talking to customers to get a tiller handle that they wanted. He's going to go through a few of the features of this handle.
I'll start from the front here. The first feature I'd like to talk about is the easy access to the trim button. So
right at your
right
thumb.
where my thumb is. You can operate the throttle, which is right here, and at the same time reach around to the front and operate the trim at the same time with one motion.
Okay.
The next thing that we go to is the throttle tension is adjustable with this knob.
Because people like different,
That's
how to turn it.
Different conditions, different type of desires. You can adjust the tension on how much effort it takes to actually throttle the engine.
Okay.
Okay? We'll push the engine over this way. We'll talk a little bit about the throw control.
And that's a cool feature down there that is very similar to like the Smart Crafts on our bigger engines.
That's correct. It's identical.
Okay.
It operates the same as Smart Craft with throw control.
Okay.
By pushing this button after you've released it at idle, you can now adjust your speed.
Okay.
Or RPM adjustment every 10 RPM, so it can speed up the boat or slow down the boat depending on fishing conditions.
Okay, so you're in forward, you've idled it down, now this thing can feather it down a little to get just the right speed.
That's correct, Keith. It'll go up to 1,000 RPM.
Nice.
Okay. Next feature we did is we moved the handle, which used to be way in the back of close to the engine, moved it up front with a nice, friendly, ergonomic handle and a very comfortable feel.
And then the kill switch is moved up?
Kill switch, we moved it up so that the cord is easily accessible and can be easily used for operation. And we also put the key right onto the handle.
Very, very nice stuff. So those are all things that make it easy to use. Now talk about the big news.
The big development here is the addition of power assist or power steering. The power steering is the new feature that makes this totally different than anything else in the marketplace.
Okay, nice.
What we've done is taken a hydraulic system and, just like a wheelboat, introduced it onto a tiller.
So it's the same steering I use on my big engine.
That's correct.
Wow, that's cool. And I noticed the way you engage this, you would never think this, but if you look real closely at this handle, when you move it, this whole handle actually just tilts a little and allows you to move this engine back and forth. Now, what if you take your hand off of this thing?
One of the real big benefits and safety benefits of this product is that it locks itself hydraulically in place. You can't move it.
But yet, it moves a little bit and it's ready to turn.
That's correct.
That's unbelievable. So this allows the guys who are running these big engines on these bigger boats, we're seeing that all over, that guys want to fish the bigger bodies of water, still run a tiller. They can run these big engines, but with comfort and with safety now with this new tiller handle.
I got one.
Okay. Oh, that's a good fish. I saw it boil.
This is a good one.
Well,
This one is wild.
Oh, this is...
He's swimming right to us,
This is a
Dan.
big fish. Look at the size of that water
This is a
boil.
big fish. I can't budge it.
Oh, I know.
Oh man, is this a big fish? Oh.
Come here. He was trying to do the last minute wiggle, but we got him. Whoa.
Look at that fish.
Now this is a crankbait walleye right here. Wow. What do you think about that, Dukers?
Yeah, what is that, buddy?
That is a nice fish.
Wow.
I could tell when I was running up here, I saw it boil just under the surface, and it looked like a trolling motor taking off.
He hit, and I'm casting right up current, so I couldn't really feel how heavy he was, and all of a sudden when he started staying down, I'm like,
Whoa, kaboom. Wow. You know, 20 years ago when I'd come here, these were 2-pound class fish. That's how much this fishery's improved. They've had that spring slot limit where you can't keep them here, but you can fish. Man, it's just awesome. Let's get them back in the water here.
yep, oh man.
Ooh.
He's been eating at McDonald's one too many times.
Yeah, kind of like you.
That's what I'm gonna look like in a few years. So I invited Dad to come down to my hometown and go do a little fishing, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I got it. All right. I don't know how I'm gonna start. Hold on. I had it.
His dad, I own his father, Rex. Same way. He'll sit on the side of the boat for 8 hours straight looking for the next cast, for the next fish to come in. Yeah, they're looking for the next bite. Now on the next bite, you'll see bubbles going fade to black.
For more information on techniques, equipment, and fishing reports, make sure and visit thenextbite.com. Browse up-to-date articles by top pros and forum posts for the latest discussions on walleye, muskie, and northern pike.